All right, good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about some of my favorite Christian resources and some of my favorite Christian curriculum. Okay, so let's talk. First of all, I did a video on a comparison between my father's world and Little Hard Dakota. I have some resources here from Abeka, from BJU Press, and from Generations. So I'll and some other awesome, cool resources for you to take a look at. So let's get right to it. Okay, so these are the Little Lights series. So I have a bunch of them. They're pretty cool. And what they are is they're each about, so take a look at this. So this is each, so these are generally like the person that the biography is about. So this is a little kid's version about, and it's really good because it teaches a lesson. So it's a Little Light series. So she asked her mom, this little girl asked her mom, hey, why do I have brown eyes? Why I want blue eyes? And her mom says, well, and she knows that if you pray to God, you'll get what you want or what you need, right? And so she prays to God and she's like, I want blue eyes. And then she finds out at the end, years later, when she's a missionary in India, why she has brown eyes. It's because when she rescues babies, the babies can look up to her eyes and see brown eyes, which is familiar to them. So God always had the right answer. There's Lottie Moon, Hudson Taylor, who is the bravest. For some reason, I have two of that one. What's Helena Rosevier, George Mueller, who I believe he started the orphanage. He started an orphanage in Germany, I think. And this is, are all the watches safe? So does she hide or does she hide people? I think she hides people in her, so this is in the middle of Holland. And she hides people and she gives secret messages during the time of, you know, the Hitler regime and things like that. So very good stories about missionaries and about trusting God and having faith in God. And when you're scared, this one is when you're scared, trusting God. And this one, does money grow on trees? This is God providing what you need. Maybe not always what you want, but what you need. This is, I've showed you this before, my first Bible picture cards. They are cool. I wish there were more of them though. There's not, like there's maybe 12 stories. So you have the fishes and the loaves, and on the back of this page will be questions. Right? So it has questions. And then back here, the loaves and the fishes. This is the story you read. So it's the summation of the story. It has where it comes from in the Bible. And then pull out this card as like a reminder. So I like these. I like these. They're not just for little kids. I know it says my first Bible stories, but I mean, even like my 9-year-old, 8, almost 9, really enjoyed it. Yeah, so it wasn't, it's not babyish. When it says like my first Bible picture cards, it almost sounds babyish, but it's not at all. This is my favorite Bible right here. I bought every kid's Bible I think that there was, really, I could not tell you. And then my dad sent me this one. This is by Kevin DeYoung. And the pictures I didn't like initially. They are bright and colorful. But what I like is it's written by a father explaining the Bible to his children. So it's not that graphic. So he explains it to his children, he tells the story and explains it to his kids and makes it relatable. And then at the end, there's always a little prayer. So we're all the way back here. So what I did is, instead of doing, because I had some Bible curriculums, and instead of doing a Bible curriculum, I would just decide that we would read from the Bible, because isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? You know what I'm saying? Is why do a whole curriculum when you could just read from the Bible? So this Bible has lessons in it, and they're about 2 pages each. I guess 2 to 3 pages. I read it at dinner sometimes. Yeah, so it's my favorite Bible. It's the biggest story Bible storybook. So quite good. It was on, I don't know where my dad finds it. He finds it on these bestsellers lists. So now let's talk some curriculum here. Okay, so these are some curriculum. This is BJU Press. I have a few things from BJU Press, and someone asked me the other day if I prefer Abeka to BJU Press. I would say yes to Abeka. I think I prefer Abeka over it. And yeah, I mean, I just do. But this particular resource, let's go here. This is history. This is Generations. I have 2 Generations books. God Made Me, which is about the biology of kids. This is for older kids, I would say like grade 3 and up, just because it's, I mean, you go pretty in depth, but it is very good. It's a very good curriculum for sure. For sure. I don't do the activity book to it, but if you see how I teach, I don't do the activity books to really anything. So this is Generations history, and this is like the history of the church. So for example, our God can save me. So this is like soldiers that were down and under, like Marcus Aurelius, and how he came to God. And then it's like, and then another one is one of them in here, how he wrote the Bible and how he translated the Bible. So it's like the history of the church and what the church used to be, and how these people important people who Patrick was sad and scared when the Irishman captured him. And so it has a faith lessons at the end is what I'm saying. So you will talk about, let me try to find the beginning. So Patrick, how a slave boy became a fisherman. He was taken from his family and he became a fisherman, and he realized that God was there for him. Because he wasn't interested in the Bible. Same with a lot of these stories, is some of them, the people, before they became missionaries, they weren't interested in the Bible. They weren't interested in church. And what's interesting too, or what's good about these books, just quickly, is that the text to picture ratio, and anyone can learn from these, like 10 and under. It doesn't have to be just little kids. Same with this. This you can go, I learned stuff from it. So it's definitely, this can be almost for everybody, like a whole family type of thing. So this is chapter 6, right? So then you have, and it's got real pictures that it has the labels in. The problem is some curriculums, and it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't remember which one does it, but some of them don't label the pictures where it's from. And that is a huge, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how that grates on me when you don't put where this picture was taken from. So it has a real life picture it'll do, and then it'll usually have a cartoon in there as well. And then it's not too scary. So it's not too scary. So I have a really sensitive youngest child, and it's not too scary. And then, so what it does is okay, so then you got where it relates to, but it's all about how that person came to find God and be saved by God. And then at the end, it has a summation, faith lessons, and you sum up. So, it's pretty good. See, again, it's got, because a lot of times when you go over into Europe, they have these, how they used to, I'm sure they have some in the United States as well. Yeah, churches and abbeys and things, that what they look like now. And so it is pretty interesting. So it has great pictures. Alfred, the great and vicious Viking. I feel like I can't remember this, even though my bookmark says, because I'm in the middle of it. Yeah. But anyway, so how the Bible got translated, how the Bible got passed along. Yeah, just different famous people in history and how they came to God. So it was recommended by someone I met through the channel, and it is very good. She was right. It was very, like Beatty in a room full of books. He's the one, I don't know how you say his name, Beatty, but he's the one that he loved books so much, and how he translated all the books. Okay, so this is Reading to Be Hearts and Hands. Now, if you had a choice, okay, this one's cheaper than the readers that you get from Rebecca. I don't have the readers here. But this is, it's still, they're different. So I have both. So this is from BJU Press. I don't like a lot of BJU Press's stuff. I feel like almost it repeats stuff. I don't know. Some of the curriculum, when it starts with history or geography, or it goes through the history of Adam and Eve and stuff again. And when we're reading something on government and it was going through that, it started off with that. So So BJU Press just isn't my favorite for some of that. But however, that's not to say it's not good, right? It's just, that's total personal preference. So each story here teaches you something. There's all different types of stories. So this is talking about rhyming words. So this is where are we? A setting, a story takes place. So these are all reading 2B. Reading 2A is really good. If you can only get one, get reading 2A. And I read it as read alouds. Reading is a separate subject in our household. So I read all these books to my kids. So think as you read, where does the story take place and what problem do the new friends have? So this is like the Amelia Bedelia story is sometimes words or phrases have two different meanings. Pick up your room, pick up your room. Okay, so that's what this whole story is about. So these illustrate different important things about stories. So these are about, like this story about mice is, could this happen in real life? And this whole section coming up here is rhyming, like the mice, because after this story, then you do a little bit of a rhyming story. So tick tock, choo choo, march, 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 rhythm, a repeated sound. So it just teaches you elements of stories is what I'm saying. So it is very good, and I quite like it. I bought them used on eBay, not for much. Okay, and these are my last two favorite curriculums, which is Abeka, because you can get this for $20, about $20, and it's huge. I mean, definitely worth every penny. It's a couple hundred pages. And it's just their science. This is their science from grade 2. And see, look at that. Look at the picture to word ratio. It's pretty interesting. It has God mixed in throughout, but it's not, it doesn't have the Bible totally immersed. So Bible's not totally immersed, but God is totally immersed through it. Although it does have like different phrases of the Bible at the end of the chapter. But again, I like that just because to me, yeah, I just didn't grow up with the Bible per se. I grew up Catholic, so I didn't grow up with the Bible. So I want it full of God, but not necessarily full of the Bible. Just, again, like I read this for the Bible, I read the Bible for the Bible, right? So I'm just not there yet. So that's just personal preference. And this is great too. It's got different phrases and hymns. I found the activity book to be a kind of a waste of time, but that's, again, so let me show you. Let's look at a chapter. So your nervous system. So it's got, there's 2 different little characters. One that's a breath, one that's pump. He's your heart. And they give you like little tips here. And then it's always got a psalm there or a phrase from the Bible that this has to do with. So it ties it all to that. And yeah, there's breath and pump. I think that's his name. And it's got definitions, which I like. I like it when it has definitions blocked out. That's something Becca doesn't have, but maybe there's a teacher's manual for this that I'm just not aware of. But again, you don't need a teacher's manual, at least for this. You certainly don't need a teacher's manual. Yeah, but anyway, there you go. So this is a little more pricey, but it's a thick book. This, I'm telling you, this can go up to grade 10, I would say, for sure. For sure, because I mean, even I'm learning stuff from it about your nervous system. It's got a lot of bright pictures. It's very in-depth. Like it really is a solid, thorough curriculum. Generations. This would be generations. See, it's got prayer. So time to do activity 36. Again, in the book, I don't like the activity book. I have it. I don't care for it. They came as a set. So I thought I'd try it out, but I generally don't do activity books. But see, it's got, yeah, I just like the way it's set out too, right? It's colorful, it's pretty, it's set out separately. It is a lot of reading, but again, it's grade 3 and up. Like this says level 3, so I would assume grade 3 and up. And again, I did it in grade 2 with my kids, and I think I'm putting it off. I think I'm gonna put it off a year or 2. See, and every unit, so there's unit, and then in the units, there's chapters. Every unit starts with, it's got a hymn, and it tells you where to find it on the internet. It's got the verse that you're gonna work through. Yeah, so very good, very good, very good. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will attach the video at the end, which is the one where it's My Father's World, which I think is great, and Little Hard Dakota, which is also great. I did a side-by-side comparison of both of them, so you could take a look at that, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.